Hello guys, it's another episode of what is trending in the US through the Lagos videos. Don't forget to like, comment and share. Watch.
They set up the podium, lights shining bright, but when the hard questions came, he ran from the mic. Red, white, and blue dome over the strait, they say. But who started this fire? Nobody will say. It's May 5th, a hard Quay 6, Pentagon Hall. General Caine standing tall beside the wall. Hegseth steps up, clears his throat with a grin. But the reporters in the room already knew it begin. First question, land saw, Project Freedom's explained. Naval destroyers, fighter jets, all maintained. Red, white, and blue dome over the Hormuz Strait. Protecting commercial ships, moving goods and freight. Hundreds of aircraft running 24/7 rounds. American destroyers patrolling those grounds. Sounds impressive on paper, sounds clean on the air. But the journalist in row 3 had a question to share. In the last 24 hours I ran fired again. We fired back too, so let's call it what it is then. Is the ceasefire over? Just answer the man. But the sidestep began like a political dance plan. Is the ceasefire over? The reporter said clear. Microphone steady, no trembling, no fear. The room went quiet, you could hear pencils drop. Every camera lens zoomed in to the top. No, the ceasefire is not over, came the reply. This is a separate project, but reporters ask why. Separate and distinct, that's the language they chose. While missiles and speedboats told a different story than pose. I ran fire 10 times, the US fired back. But speedboats got sunk right there in the track. But the ceasefire's holding, at least that's the line. Even while the strait lit up like a danger sign. So the storyline splits into 2 different frames. One is diplomatic, one is playing war games. And somewhere between those 2 versions of truth sat a briefing room full of reporters with proof. Raised his hand and asked about Israel's role. Who started this war and who's paying the toll? The answer got twisted, deflected and spun. And before the real truth came out, the briefing was done. Now here is what drop cakes are turning the tail. A reporter named James stepped up without fail. Asked about Israel, the nuclear claim. Democrats pressing for truth around that same flame. More than 24 House members had penned a letter asking the administration to do better. That called us for weapons, and everyone knows. But official Washington just holds its nose. Hegseth looked over, adjusted his tone. James, you started out nicely, thrown like a stone, but you ended exactly where we knew you would land. Translation, that question was already banned. And now it's continuing, no answer supplied. The question just floated and quietly died, and the cameras kept rolling. The reporters took notes while the Pentagon talking points stuck to their quotes. This is what happens in briefing rooms worldwide when truth meets the podium and gets pushed to the side. No insults intended, this is just what we saw. A story unfolding between politics and law. Now strip away the drama, let's look at the facts. The ceasefire April 8th still technically acts. Project Freedom is real, the operation's in place. American military running a disciplined pace. The Strait of Hormuz, global shipping at stake. 2 US flag vessels escorted in its wake. Low traffic still moving, tension still high in a Pentagon briefing that just passed on by. Israel gutted strikes back in February's probe. That part of the story has already been told. Democrats want transparency around nuclear truth, but the briefing moved forward without giving that proof. And Hegseth stood firm on the administration's line to the ceasefire and the operations design as 2 separate chapters in one longer book, while the world kept on watching and demanding a look. Firm on the administration's line, drew the ceasefire and the operations design as 2 separate chapters in one longer book, while the world kept on watching and demanding a look. And Hegseth stood firm on the administration's line, drew the ceasefire and the operations design as 2 separate chapters in one longer book, while the world kept on watching and demanding a look.